garden. Let's get ready to rumble! 10 rounds of boxing between two 1988 Olympic gold medal champions. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, trimmed with gold, and weighing in at 236 pounds. He brings a professional record of 23-3 with 1 draw, 16 KOs. He's the pride of the USA Olympic boxing team in 1988 when he won the heavyweight gold medal. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the USA, former WBO World Heavyweight Champion, Merciless Ray Mercer. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, trimmed with black, and weighing in at 247 pounds. He captured Olympic gold in 1988 when he represented Great Britain in the super heavyweight division. His professional record now stands at 28 victories with only 1 defeat. 24 of those 28 victories are by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, representing Great Britain, former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Well, Lewis has a conversion job to do here because it's clear the New Yorkers don't like him. They've not been impressed by him yet. He'll have to teach them differently.
You both received the rules earlier in the dressing room by the New York State Athletic Commission. I expect you to obey these rules. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you. Okay, let's go.
The referee, Arthur McCanty, is the son of the man who refereed the great Ali Frazier fight here in 1971. So it's clearly in the blood, and Dad is here watching his performance tonight. But Lewis, were you surprised by those boos for him, Glenn?
Not really, but I think he does need to do a conversion job, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to really capture the imagination of the American public. He can do a good job here, he'll do that.
10-rounder, non-title fight, but crucial for Lewis. Mercer trying to pressure him early on, bustle him up. Never seen Lennox Lewis yet in a really hard, grueling, long-distance fight. When he won against Tony Tucker, he had 1 or 2 bad moments, but by and large, he was coasting. But this is some start, this by Mercer, really going for it.
Yes, he's not the best fighter in the world technically, but he is a brave fighter, and he does rush forward. He is strong, and he can hit a good bit.
Lewis looking to work behind that jab and then the fast right hand to follow. He did look $1 million against Tommy Morrison last time, Lewis. Needs to repeat that kind of performance to stoke up more interest over here and demand for a showdown with Tyson. He needs a public clamour for that fight to happen. But this is a tough assignment. Certainly the toughest, I reckon, that Lewis has had since losing to Oliver McCall.
And Mercer is having a bit of success with his jab. It's quite quick. He has managed to push the head back of Lewis, and that would be good for Mercer because that would keep Lewis off balance.
Good right hand to the body from Lewis. Emmanuel Stewart, his trainer since the McCall defeat, says he's twice the fighter now. Mercer, 35, 5 years older, the former WBO heavyweight champion.
Lewis landing a good double left hook there, body and head. But again, the jab from Mercer is a good one.
Lewis under some fire, covers up pretty well. And remember, that is certainly the fire and more that he'd have to cope with against Tyson if they ever got in the same ring. Oh, good right hand by Lewis, that one. But he's so durable, never been stopped, remember, Mercer. Been a pro now for 8 years, turning pro late at 27 after his Olympic success in the same year that Lewis won the super heavyweight gold against Riddick Bowe in Seoul. Both Olympic champions of old. Certainly no shortage of ambition here from Mercer early on.
There isn't, and I think, to be honest, this is a very good start from Ray Mercer. He's using the jab well, he's keeping Lewis off balance, and then he's getting in too close for Lewis to get his punches off.
Lewis is having to show some composure. Such a relaxed, laid-back character, but almost nothing seems to trouble him. And by and large, he's covered up well and soaked up the attacks from Mercer.
He's a big deep one.
Welcome back live to Madison Square Garden. Ray Mercer here. He may have been given that first round by the three judges on his aggression, I think.
Yes, I think so, just on the aggression. He was getting the jab going and he was rushing forward. I don't think Lewis is worried by that at this stage, but it was a fair start from Mercer.
Mercer only beaten 3 times by Larry Holmes. It was a pretty ancient Larry Holmes. Jesse Ferguson, that was a bad defeat. And Evander Holyfield, that was his last fight. He lost it on points, Mercer, but he gave Holyfield a very, very tough argument for 7 rounds. Lewis seems to have been stung into a higher gear here. Really letting go. Mercer doesn't mind trading with him.
Yes, Lewis landed 2 good left hook right hands, rocked the head back of Mercer.
Mercer, the former US Army sergeant, who often looks absolutely awful in the gym, but improves on that quite often when he gets in the ring. He's got a kind of beaten up look about him, which is a little bit deceptive.
And now the work a little better from Lewis. He's starting to get his own punches off, just upping the tempo slightly.
When Mercer does come forward, I must say, Lewis's defence looks good and tight, by and large. Some class work here. Keep the punches up, says referee Arthur McCanty to Lewis, who lets one stray low with the left. Better round this, though, for Lewis.
Yes, a much better round. I think he's stood his ground better in this round. He's used his own jab, and that's pushed Mercer off balance.
Great, step back.
Mercer, remember, has had good wins over people like Bert Cooper, Francesco Damiani, and Tommy Morrison, who he beat in a round quicker than Lewis did. Pretty hard character to sum up, Mercer. You never know quite what you're going to get with him. He's a little bit inconsistent. His weight varies. He gets in with a right hand and a left hook there, and another right. Mercer really starting to let the leather flow, and the signs here that this could be a tough assignment here for Lennox Lewis. Mercer coming on strong again towards the end of round 2, a round that Lewis had dominated for the first couple of minutes.
And Lewis can't afford to be pushed back on the ropes like that. He's got to keep the distance. He's got to have room to get his own punches off.
Better from Lewis, looks so much better at range. Mercer, used to having the reach disadvantage. That's where he wants to be, right up against Lewis's chest, bustling him, brawling him, trying to out-hustle him.
And also with the crowd will go for that. The crowd will like it if Mercer pushes Lewis back.
Very good jab again from Mercer, and once more, Lewis not slipping those punches. Well, this could be a tough one. Looking back at some action from the second round here at Madison Square Garden, this was the best of Ray Mercer's work, but I thought Lewis just took that round, and so did trainer Emmanuel Stewart. He says he's got the fight even, which is how we're seeing it.
Yes, I think he did. It was a good little spell from Mercer, but Lewis covered up quite well. He doesn't really want to be on the ropes. He's got to keep a distance where he can get his punches off, where he can get his leverage.
Third round. Good contest so far, this, and Mercer proving as hard and durable and dangerous as we thought he might be early on anyway. Will he be able to sustain this kind of level of performance? Is his conditioning as good as Lewis's? Remember, Mercer coming in at 16 stone 12, that's 12 pounds heavier than when he gave Holyfield such a good argument. Lewis is nearly half a stone heavier too, though, than when he fought Morrison.
Yes, but I think that Mercer will have had a plan in his head to push Lewis early, and I think really, if that is the case, Lewis will be the one who has the best condition.
Lewis here, who not only wants to win, but looked very good doing it.
All right, Ray, all right.
With a half smile as Mercer seemed to say something to him in there. Lewis not quite throwing the jab often enough for my liking.
His problem is he's waiting for Mercer to lead, and he's getting caught with that punch. He's got to be first. When he throws his jab first, he's the one who catches Mercer, but he's just waiting a little bit too long.
Needing everything to flow off that. It's good defensive work by Lewis. Took all those on the arms and gloves. Good right uppercut from Mercer. Again, that right hand, the crowd got excited about it, but it definitely hit the glove of Lewis, who got it up well. Worked a lot on the defense in the training camp.
Stop holding. Come on.
Lewis is getting quite an experienced campaigner now. Often in the past he's kind of played the percentages. He's been a wee bit cautious, but nearly always has got the job done. Except, of course, in that two-round demolition when he got so careless against Oliver McCall. That has cost him so much. He's been frozen out since, and certainly can't afford a slip up here.
Mercer certainly hasn't been overawed. It's been another quite good round for him. He's tried to get off first with the jab, just scoring with a double jab there. Lewis a little quieter, but now starting to pick it up.
A quieter third round. So I'd like to see Lewis constantly at work on that jab and letting everything else flow off that. But he's giving Mercer opportunities to dive in at him, which Mercer is taking. Well, Lennox Lewis, so far here, it's not been easy for him. Let's see what they're saying in the corner.
Whack him and go to the body. All right? Doing a good job, Ray.
They're happy in that corner. Trainer Tommy Parks, cutman Percy Richardson. Lewis, of course, with Manny Stewart in the corner, and Harold the Shadow Knight, Courtney Shan, the conditioner there.
And you heard them say in the corner there, you're doing a good job, Ray. And he is. He's pushing the fight. He's trying to force Lewis on the back foot. Lewis not fighting that well on the back foot. Needs to stand his ground and use the jab more.
Right hand gets home from Mercer, whose hand speed is deceptively quick. The crowd, you feel too, are right behind Mercer. And I think Lewis too here sensed with all that booing and the hostile reception that he was away from home here. And Mercer, I think, has gained from that, drawn strength from it.
Yes, he's certainly at the weigh-in, and what he seemed to be getting confidence. He seemed to be a round friend, but good punches from Lewis there. The uppercut was a good one.
That's his great punch, Lewis, the right uppercut. I was about to say we hadn't seen it, and then he unleashed it. That was better. Body shot too from Lewis. Just starting to move through the gears and then teeing off with another right uppercut.
But now we have Lewis standing his ground, making Mercer fight his fight, and that's where he's better.
Then Mercer take those kind of right uppercuts. All of the signs in his career so far are that he can. Lewis had about his best 10 seconds in the fight for a while there, but he's just dropped off the pace again. Good four-punch combination. Mercer leaving himself open rather foolishly and getting caught with a right cross for his trouble as well at the end of it. Good right hand gets through from Mercer as well, who's still very competitive in this fight.
Yes, it's better work from Lewis, but Mercer has always shown himself to be a very brave, very cagey fighter.
Lewis breathing more heavily as well. The bad news for Lennox Lewis is that Mercer wants this just as badly as he does. Right uppercut, good shot by Mercer. And again. Caught twice more with right hands, Lewis, who's now beginning to have a pretty uncomfortable evening here. Oh, and look at the comeback here from Lewis. It's developing into a terrific fight. This is some round of fourth, swinging this way and that.
Well, you said earlier that you'd never seen Lennox Lewis in a real tough fight. I think we're maybe going to see that now.
Can he come through a really grueling battle which asks questions about his heart and stomach for the fight? Those questions are being asked here as Lewis looks to unload, and brave refereeing by McCanty as well at the end of it. That was a really excellent round, and listen to the Madison Square Garden crowd
You look good. That was your best
erupt to that.
Best round. Deep breath, Jim.
Yep, I got it.
Jim, that was his last. What's that low blow, John? I got you, baby. I'm not watching. I was hitting him. You want this over? No, I won't. Not yet. Ray, move your head when you're standing still. Don't put it in. Move it to the side.
What a tough
your hands
man
up.
this
Don't
Ray
just let
Mercer
your
is.
hands out. Take a little swallow.
Remember, he floored Damiani and Cooper too on his way to victory. He's got some power.
Yes, he's got power, but he's very brave. He's a real gutsy fighter, and he's going to make Lennox fight every step of the way for this fight. But Lewis showed good character. When Mercer had a good spell there, Lewis just dug in, gritted his teeth, and come firing back here. And look at that beautiful right uppercut. And he puts the power on and finishes the round well. Good enough to take it, I feel.
Fifth round. Frank Maloney, the manager of Lewis, standing right behind us, kneeling beside a slightly worried look on his face. White trunks, remember, of Lewis. Which of these two old gold medalists will prevail? Glenn McCrory's scorecard so far showing the fight level at this stage. There certainly can't be much in it, although Mercer's face, I've noticed, is beginning to swell up.
Yes, he also has some damage in the mouth. We were treating that between rounds, so he's starting to feel the effects of these hard punches.
Well, Lennox Lewis was telling me before this fight that he prepared for it as if he was fighting Tyson himself. And those were low blows by Lewis. And if he does that again, McCanty, I think, will deduct him a point.
Step back now. Come on.
Fifth round of a fascinating battle. Lewis having to struggle to put out Mercer's fire.
Lewis has just got to start to lift himself up a bit, get a bit more confidence, let more punches go. He's still just waiting for Mercer to lead a little bit too much.
On the plus side for Lewis here tonight is, remember, some people said when Oliver McCall knocked him out, although it was a honey punch, that right hand, that maybe it asked questions about Lewis's jaw. Well, he's taken some punches tonight and taken them pretty well. But a bit worrying, maybe, how many he has had to take.
Yes, he's had to take quite a few, and you would feel in this sort of fight against Mercer he will. But really, he's just got to keep on at his boxing. Use the strength, use the jab. This is where it's been a little bad point. Mercer has landed too many times with the jab. Lewis has just waited and allowed Mercer to get off first.
So he just hasn't been busy enough with his own jab, Lewis. There are times when he just seems to be coasting and look a bit languid. That's been true right the way through his career. Good defense by Lewis. Got his glove up well to block that right hand by Mercer. It didn't get through. Remember, so often, though, here in America, and particularly in New York, they go for aggression, the judges. More than sweet boxing or style. Quiet around this. The fifth, so far anyway. Quietest of the fight.
Champ, when you're inside, you move your head. Move your head inside.
Welcome back. Just spoke to Frank Maloney briefly between the rounds, who feels that Lennox is having a tough job. And, well, he's not wrong.
No, he's certainly not. This is a tough fight.
Let your hands go.
Everybody thought that Mercer could be a tough fight, but he's got to be able to beat Mercer if he wants Tyson. He's got to show character in this. This is what it's all about, to be heavyweight champion of the world.
6th round. And as Lewis himself says, if he is going to prevail and show himself to be the top heavyweight out there and beat men of the caliber of Tyson and Bowe, he's got to be beating the likes of Ray Mercer. Decent fighter though Mercer is. Just looking a bit puffy around the eyes, Mercer.
Step back.
As the 6th round. 3 judges scoring, of course. Remember, Mercer did rather fade from about the 7th round on against Holyfield and was put down for the very first time in his career, the only time in that fight.
It was interesting in Lewis's corner. They obviously are a little worried. They were telling Lewis, you've got to pick it up. They want more work from him.
Still a danger that Lewis could let everything slip here. He's been busier in this round though, Lewis. Starting to get that right uppercut into play as well. Mercer's just, for the moment, his work rate seems to be dropping off a little bit. Is he beginning to fade, beginning to tire?
Yes, he looks a little more tired in this round, Mercer. And Lewis has been allowed to get his own punches off. He's landed a few nice little hurtful combinations inside.
I have to say, though, on the evidence of what we've seen already, I think Lewis here tonight will not have convinced many people that he has a chance of beating Tyson. A different fight, different night. And here comes Mercer again, coming on strong. Just when we thought he'd gone a bit quiet in the fight, and Lewis in trouble on the ropes, needing to cover up. His knees seem to buckle with one of those right hands just momentarily as well.
Yes, he just looked tired as he went back against the ropes. There just seemed to be a little bit of panic with some of them punches.
Well, there were many who said that this was a very hard night's work to contemplate with so much on the line. At the moment, Mercer's making it his kind of fight.
Yes, I think the style of Mercer has also given Lewis a few problems. He has an unorthodox style, and I think Lewis is just having a few difficulties getting to him.
Lennox has landed with some good punches in this fight, particularly with the right uppercuts, but there's a kind of indestructibility about Mercer, which is discouraging for his opponents. So we've heard what Glenn McCrory, sitting alongside me at ringside, is thinking. I wonder what Barry McGuigan, watching the pictures back in London, makes of it so far. It's a tough one, isn't it, Barry?
Certainly is, Ian. I haven't won up Lewis, but he lost that last round, and quite honestly, he could be behind on the judges' scorecards at ringside. The problem that he has here is he should be keeping the fight at distance. I'm surprised that he gave into such a small ring, but this is where he was hurt here in this round, and he was hurt. It wasn't that punch, it was the next one that actually put him back to the ropes. He lands a good solid shot here. This one here, in the right hand, that's the one. Actually hurt him, and he doesn't like the pressure up close. Lewis can't handle the pressure. He's got to try and keep this guy at bay and be first.
Thanks very much indeed, Barry. That was a tough round. And looking at those punches going through again there, I think Lewis was hurt more by them than perhaps we realised at first sighting. I thought his knee had been buckled by one. He certainly seems to be all right as he comes out here for the 7th round, but you get the impression, really, that everything is really on the line here. This is desperately close.
It's a very close fight. Lewis has to start doing things a bit different. He's got to start picking his work rate up a bit more. He's got to maybe start even gambling a little bit.
Daniel Stewart, Lewis's trainer, was saying before this that when he's in shape, Ray Mercer doesn't give you any day on the beach. Mercer's only fighting in spurts, but when he does lift the gear, he's been having Lewis in some difficulties.
That's right, and that's taken the eye of the judges. In the last round, Lewis, who was controlling the round, and then for a 20-second spell, he really picked it up, Mercer, and that will have caught everybody's eye, and that was an exciting time.
Caught our eye, didn't it?
It did, but Lewis was doing the better work for the majority of the round. He can't allow Mercer to have them spells. He's got to get in the center of the ring, use his jab, push Mercer back.
Lewis is caught by a right hand there, which sent the sweat spraying from him. Back he comes there, and he's involved here now in a real trench warfare of a battle with Ray Mercer. Forget the form book now. Lewis has got to find something extra to make sure of this. And after Ray Mercer, the next most pleased man in America, if Lewis is beaten, is going to be Don King. Because then the pressure will be off for him to get Lewis and Tyson in the same ring. Although watching this, they may not be too worried about taking Lewis.
That's right. It has not been this far a great performance by Lewis. He just hasn't really had that spark. But Mercer, everybody thought he was a difficult opponent, and he's proven rightly so.
Well, he made it hard for Evander Holyfield, and he's making it even harder for Lewis. Merciless Ray Mercer, he calls himself, and the nickname seems more appropriate than it has done at most times in the past.
Yes, he's put good pressure on all the time. He's not allowing Lennox to get off with his best shots, and as you've seen there, pretty good defense from the right hand, but this is better from Lewis now, starting to get his punches off.
6-punch combination. Mercer holds up his hands as if to say, not hurt, and he probably wasn't. He's that durable.
3 or 4 punches. He's still no round if he does that.
Glenn McCrory's scorecard will show that Lewis is a couple of points ahead. That's a very unofficial judgment, it has to be said, because these rounds are close. But this is a good burst by Lewis at the end of the round.
Yes, and this was a better round for Lewis. He just seemed to be, I think he's listening to the corner. They're really having a go at him in there. They want to do a lot more work to push it, to really grit his teeth and get in there.
Round 8, 3 to go. Lewis in the white trunks, trying to do it for the pride of British heavyweight boxing. Good start to the round, and Mercer was hurt by a right hand there, no doubt about that.
Yes, the legs just staggered just for a second there. That long right hand from Lewis.
Manny Stewart telling Lewis as he sent him out, you can't afford to lose any more rounds, otherwise you could lose this fight. That was the warning he gave to Lewis. He said, you've got to be first. You've got to make sure. So they're worried in the corner. There's no doubt about that. This is touch and go. Good right uppercut from Lewis, who started this round better.
But Mercer, he gets hit with that good shot and he just comes soldiering back. He's a real fighter, a real tough guy.
They say about Mercer that when he's in the mood, he makes you work twice as hard as other heavyweights. And Lewis is finding that out to his cost as he gets caught again. Worrying the amount of times he has been caught. And if he did get in with Tyson, he certainly could not afford to be as unelusive, if I can invent a word, as that. Oh, right hand while they were on the break there from Mercer. That was a bit naughty.
Yes, well, Mercer was unhappy there because Lennox was leaning on him. He's putting all his weight on him. And Mercer come back with a very good shot there.
He did, the right hand. You'd just love to know what the judges' scorecards are saying here, wouldn't you? The crowd are getting behind Mercer here. They see this as the American against the Brit, don't they?
Well, it's been a good spirited performance from Mercer. He just keeps coming back, and I think the crowd are really appreciating that. Lewis is the better technician, showing the better skills, landing with the cleaner punches, but Mercer just keeps rolling forward.
Hit with another good right hand, though, not for the first time in the round. Mercer, once again in this round, has had his moments. Just when you think one of them is gaining the upper hand, gaining the initiative, the other seems to have a good little spell. The plot has ebbed and flowed like that. Still nice and light on his feet. He looks the fresher of the two, but that's deceptive because Mercer is just, as we keep saying, so very, very strong. Wow, hard to score that round.
Very hard. Lewis had some good points. He was landing with good shots, good single shots. But then Mercer keeps rolling forward, keeps pushing on, and he gets the eye because he keeps right on his chest and lets them little short punches go.
Now, you understand? You got to pull this on out.
Water, man.
You got the box with this left. You only got one more. It's not 12 rounds.
You're doing the talking.
He's looking good with the punches. Boxing, they're moving. Make him have to move. His leg.
He's more tired than you, Ray. Ray, all you got to do, double jab him. Then the right hand, the big right hand. You had him out, you held him up. Hit him next time.
Make him use his legs while he's tired now, okay? Okay, let your shots go. Don't hesitate so much. Using your legs.
Certainly one of the toughest fights of Lennox Lewis's career. In fact, I'd say the toughest, other than, of course, the defeat against McCall, but that was only 2 rounds. Certainly the hardest and most grueling fight of his career.
Very much so. It's been a tremendous performance from Mercer. He said he wanted to win this fight. He saw it as an opportunity that he'd been given, and he's took the bull by the horns here, and he's really going for it.
As Mercer was saying, I'm a desperate man, and a desperate man is a dangerous man. Good right hands again from Mercer, who really fancies the job now. Blood coming from his nose. Lewis, you sense, is tired now. He looks a bit marked up and swollen around the face. They've both taken a lot.
His defense has been good against the hooks from Mercer, but it's been very poor against the jab. He's caught a lot of jabs, as you just see there. He just hasn't moved the head and slipped the jab that well, but it has been a quick one from Mercer.
That right hand was such a good punch from Lewis, it might have put a lot of men down. Mercer just soaked that up as well. Like a blotting paper with ink, he just absorbs anything thrown at him.
Lewis for the first time just changing tactics a bit, just starting to use the ring a little bit, get some movement.
Mercer not letting him do that.
He just charges in.
Yeah, cutting off the corner. Two tired heavyweights in there now. Lewis, the heavier man, by 11 pounds at 17 stone 9.
Again, Mercer is the one who's first to throw the jab. That's been the problem with Lewis in this fight. He's waited too long.
Has to be said that this is really, in world title terms, been a worrying performance by Lewis. He's been too easy to hit. Never really found his form, except really in little snatches, but give every credit to Ray Mercer for foiling him and frustrating him in that way and making it so hard.
You can see the damage that Mercer has picked up around the face, but he's not giving Lewis a second. Lewis can't build up any sort of real attacks. Mercer is always the one to try and get to him first. Again, the jab is the one that pushes Lewis's head back.
If Lewis does do this, it might be a real skin-of-the-teeth job. Lewis is taking looks at the corner for encouragement as well. maybe he just did enough to squeeze that round. What did you think?
Well, I differed with you. I just thought he didn't do enough, Lewis. He elected to move too much without throwing enough punches. This is where he's got to catch the judge's eyes. This is where he's got to stand up, throw combinations, and he hasn't done that.
You've got to win this round, okay? All right.
Last round, champ. How bad you want it?
Just go to him. That's the last round. Don't give him this fucking round.
Don't give it to him.
You hear? All you gotta do is keep fucking punching.
If you get close, you go 3 and 4 punches. And then keep turning and keep
A
turning.
very anxious Lennox Lewis corner. They may well need this last round. And there's every possibility, it has to be said here, that Lewis will be beaten. There's Glenn's scorecard. How are you seeing it, Glenn?
Yes, I've got Lewis 1 point up. But it's a very close fight. It's been a very good fight. But Lewis, he hasn't managed to impress.
Last round. And you feel that Lewis must win this last round, but Mercer will be thinking the same. This could hang on the final 3 minutes here. Lewis's whole future, where does he go if he gets beaten here by Ray Mercer? It would be a massive, massive setback. He's never remotely looked like being the first man to stop Mercer. He's stung him once or twice, but no more than that.
No, he's never really had any authority in his work. Against Tommy Morrison, he was the boss, he was confident. In this fight, he hasn't been that way.
Lewis trying to get in and then get out again. And feeling the weight of Mercer's punches. We did wonder whether Mercer was really in condition at 16 stone 12. He's been in condition, all right. The two Olympic champions of '88 meeting again 8 years down the road. Good right uppercut inside, but not too much coming from either of them now. I think both of them have run out of inspiration.
Yes, both of them are very tired, but really with so much on the line, this is where Lewis really needs to find inspiration. He really has to go for it. I think he must feel in the corner. They've told him it's very tight, but he hasn't lifted his game that much.
That was a good little three-punch combination from Lewis, but you'd like to see more of it. Blood now coming from the mouth of Mercer. It might have been one of those three punches that did that. Last minute of the contest. Screams at Lewis from his corner of let's go to work. Crowd at the Garden absolutely absorbed in this. And I think it's on a knife edge.
Yes, I think it's very, very close. Certainly this round has been very tight.
Good left from Mercer. That will have taken the judges' eyes. One or two people on their feet in this sold-out mecca of boxing. But is it going to be the scene of a nightmarish defeat for Lennox Lewis?
Again, he hasn't finished with this yet, Lewis. And I think it could be an even round here. Lewis maybe just hanging on.
They both raise their gloves. The crowd certainly appreciated the fight. There are no boos for Lewis now, but it has to be said that was a disappointing performance from him. He made very, very hard work of it. Yes, he is a dangerous and durable fighter, Mercer. Probably fought one of the best contests of his career there. But it has to be said he did expose one or two of Lewis's limitations. There's no way that Lewis would beat Tyson in that kind of form. Not
certainly. No, you would think the reason why he wouldn't do it is because he wouldn't believe he could, because he didn't have the belief in that fight.
Glenn McCrory scored that last round even. Well, there's no telling how the three American judges will have seen this fight. I think it's too close to call, and there's a real danger, I think, here that Mercer, because of his walk-forward aggression, could have just nicked it.
He could have. He boxed in spasms. He threw. In that caught the eye more. He would get Lewis. The exciting work was at times for Mercer. The steady work was from Lewis.
There's some long faces, including Manuel Stewart. Glenn's scorecard has got Lewis just winning 97 to 96, but it was very, very, very close to call. And looking along to our American colleagues, there have a similar view that it's one way or another. You certainly wouldn't want to put your head on the chopping block now. We still await the decision. And Frank Maloney is looking a wee bit happier. I don't know if he's got some advanced information. But my goodness me, Mercer gave Lewis there the fright of his life. We still do not know. We wait for Michael Buffer in his inimitable way to tell us. We're getting one or two signals from the Lewis camp. They seem to think they've got it. We'll find out. Looks like Lewis may have won from some of the signals we've been getting from Frank Maloney and Panos Eliades, but we await the confirmation.
But Lewis there does not look a happy man. You can see the damage. That's been from them solid jabs. He couldn't get out of the way of the jab in this fight.
Still waiting. Here we go now.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the scorecards here at Madison Square Garden, how about a round of applause for these two heavyweights, two Olympic gold medal champions that came here to fight tonight. We go to the scorecards. Melvina Lathan scores the bout 95 even. Luis Rivera scores the bout 96 to 95. George Colon scores the bout 96 to 94. For the winner on a split decision, Lennox Lewis.
Lewis has got it. But as an audition for Mike Tyson, it was hardly convincing, and the New York crowd don't like it. They think Mercer won that fight. It really was far too tight to argue. It could have gone either way, but the bottom line is Lewis will probably now get his fight with Tyson, who somewhere is probably sitting watching this in Ohio and thinking, no problem.
That's right. He wasn't impressive. He made a lot of mistakes. The defenses were not that good. He couldn't get out of the way of the jab, and really he looked a little bit limited in this sort of performance. But styles make fights. Tyson's different to Mercer. It's a great fight.
We'll hear an interview any moment with Lennox Lewis. One of them scored it even, the judges. He won it by 1 round on one scorecard and by 2 rounds on the other one. And Mercer will feel hard done by, but he's gained in defeat, I reckon, again there, as he did against Holyfield. He's in there all right. Can we hear Lennox Lewis?
But I felt I did enough to win.
You hit him some awfully hard shots. You're not used to seeing guys keep coming after those hard shots. Is that what made this fight so close?
Yes, I'm telling you. Ray Mercer got a tough chin, boy. When they said he's got a tough chin. Because I hit him with some shots and I felt it in my hand, and he kept coming.
Have you ever been in this kind of a brawl? I mean, this had nothing to do with technique after a while. This had something to do with who you are and how you fight.
Definitely. You know, this is a small ring, especially for a heavyweight. You take 2 steps and you're hitting the ropes. So, and then Ray Mercer gave me a lot of pressure. So, you know, I did enough to win.
How, if at all, do you think this would affect your proposed fight with Mike Tyson?
I think it's a positive fight because, like I said, I'm not taking no easy fights. I took the Ray Mercer fight because I realized that, you know, Tyson's a presser fighter, so is Ray Mercer, so I have to go against certain guys to prepare for Mike Tyson.
So you think the way this fight turned out, it was a preparation for an eventual fight with Mike Tyson whenever it occurs?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, this is the reason why I took Ray Mercer. You know, he's a guy that comes and gives you enough pressure. And, you know, I had to prepare myself to deal with a guy that gives me enough pressure.
Thank you very much, Lennox. Congratulations.
Hey, it's my mother's birthday today, and I'd like to wish her a happy birthday and all the mothers in the world.
Well, Lennox Lewis there saying happy birthday to his mum. I think the plus for Lennox Lewis is that he did prevail when all is said and done in a hard and grueling fight. But in a moment, we'll find out what Ray Mercer thought. I think that might be rather different. as we see Lewis celebrating, but he was very easy to hit, and he'll get a lot more of that from Tyson.
Well, I went out there, I did the best I can. I think all my fans out there, they was great. They kept me motivated. Hats off to Lennox Lewis. He took some of the best shots I had to give. You know, he had a strong jab. I had to try to get on the inside. I did a couple of things wrong, and I guess that cost me the fight. I didn't think I lost the fight. It's becoming a routine for me, man. I don't know.
Well, did you think you had actually won the fight? Were you thinking in the corner going into the 10th round that if you survive this, you've won the fight?
I wasn't trying to survive. I was trying to fight all the way through the fight, you know. I know I gave a couple of rounds away, but that's it. No more than 3, you know.
You've been hit by some hard punches. Is he as hard or harder than any puncher you've faced?
Well, every punch that you're going to see from a heavyweight, 240-some pounds, it's going to be a hard punch. And, you know, all the punches are hard that I've been getting hit with by different fighters. But, you know, just different styles to make the punches. I was able to stand up against the toughest punch. I can stand up and take anybody's punch. As you see, Mike Tyson, me and Mike Tyson has a great style, and I'm just waiting to get it on. If people want to see that, we're right there battling the hell with boxing.
Thank you very much, Ray. Jim?
All right. Well, that's Larry Merchant there doing the interviews for us as we watch Bobby Ches get ready for the Evander Holyfield fight. But Lewis has won it, and the Tyson fight, if they can sort out all the problems, is still on. But you can't say that was an impressive win by Lewis.
And it seems pretty clear already that the American public have not been convinced by Lennox Lewis tonight. The judges were split. We'll get the thoughts of our studio judges, Barry McGuigan and Gary Mason, in just a moment or two. And as we just mentioned with Ian, Bobby Ches against Evander Holyfield coming up in just a few minutes' time. Twice a world champion at cruiserweight and heavyweight, twice retired. Twice he's come back, and at 33, full of ambition. In a few minutes' time, Evander Holyfield against Bobby Ches, live from Madison Square Garden. We've seen Lennox Lewis keep on the track of Mike Tyson, but only by virtue of a split decision. Our judges in the studio, let's get their thoughts. Barry McGuigan and Gary Mason. Gary is a man who fought Lewis. Your thoughts on his performance tonight first?
It wasn't a controlled performance by Lennox. It was a fight, and he did well to win the fight in America, but it wasn't controlled, and he's going to need to be in a lot more control when he faces Mike Tyson.
Did you feel he started too slowly, Barry?
This was always going to be a tough fight. That was never going to be a walkover or a predictable result. It was always going to be a difficult fight, and I admire Lewis for taking him on. But, you know, he referred to the ring being too small. They should have known that. They should have done their homework beforehand and not agreed to a small ring. It was always going to be a fight at close contact from Mercer's point of view, and Lewis's game plan should have been to keep him at bay. However, he didn't, and really, he started very well in round 4. We can have a look at it here, and he hit him with a cracking uppercut, and this really was his best punch in the fight, and then came back with nice little short combinations. But too much of the fight was at too short a distance, which suited Mercer. He should have been keeping him in the long reach. He should have been working his body more, and he should have been trying to start, instead of loading up, throw combination punches like that there. But too many of the rounds were spent trying to knock him out with one single punch, and he paid the price for that. Unnecessary for him to go and try and win with a big KO punch when he knew the guy had a rock chin. We can have a look at round 6 now, and Lewis got hurt here, in trouble. He really was in trouble, and Mercer opened up here, and he doesn't handle pressure well, Lewis. Hurt by a combination, backs up to the ropes, hands go down momentarily, looks stunned, and this was at the bell. But there's no doubt about it, he's got to learn to be able to handle pressure better. And if he lets a guy short, if he fights a guy as short and powerful again, and we're talking about someone like Tyson, he's got to be able to tie him up when he gets up close like that, because he can't allow Tyson to get that close to him, because he'll rip his head off. He's got to keep him at distance. He's got to have a big ring, and he's got to get on his bike and use his natural assets. We can have a look at round 9 again here, or sorry, round 7.
Here, Barry, yeah.
And you know, Gary, what did you think of this at this stage?
This is the time when Lennox was putting it on Mercer. He was
Yeah.
pushing him back, but Lennox at that stage through the fight, he was fighting more through because he was forced to do things rather than doing them because he felt comfortable doing them.
Control.
Yes, he wasn't under control. He wasn't in control of the fight. Mercer kept coming at him, and there are things in that fight. Mercer's punch, it shook Lennox every so often, which is an alarming sign when we consider that he'd actually been knocked out before. But in the end, he did come through, and if he is going to go into a Mike Tyson fight, he needs to go into that fight with reality in front of him. He faced reality there, and he's come through it. Maybe he can still pull up a similar performance, at least, in facing Mike Tyson.
I agree with that, funnily enough. You know, you need to be able to simulate something that's going to happen to you in the ring, because if you don't simulate it in some capacity, either in the gym or in the ring, and there's no better preparation than actually competing in a ring.
Ray Mercer didn't appear to be all that impressed by Lewis's punching power.
No, he didn't. He said he was hurt by everybody that hit him that was over 200 pounds, and that's right. And this is round 9 again, and Lewis hit him with a full-blooded right hand there, but absolutely no effect whatsoever on Mercer. Mercer's got a great chin, and that itself is a bit worrying. I mean, if he can't hurt Mercer with that sort of punch, he's not going to hurt Tyson either. However, it was a good preparation for a close combat fight like that, but he can't afford to fight Tyson like that. He's not going to win if he fights Tyson like that.